Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about Jenneifer Kesse's case. And I did a previous video on this case where I went through the whole case and several theories. And I said I would do another video getting into detail on each of the theories. So this video, I'm going to talk about her ex-boyfriend because I came across some information that I didn't know before. Now, I'm assuming it's true, but I'm talking to you guys like I would a friend, so it's not like I'm I know everything and that everything I say is 100% facts, but I do find it on the internet. So I'm assuming it's facts, but okay. So, as I said earlier in my other video, her brother, Logan, stayed the night at Jenneifer Kesse's condo while she was away on a trip with her boyfriend to St. Croix. So, Jenneifer Kesse lives in Orlando. She had a condo. She's going on a trip with her boyfriend and lets her little brother stay at her condo with some of his friends. What I didn't know is one of his friends was her ex-boyfriend. But he remained friends with her brother after their breakup. So, that was my first, what? I didn't know this. I didn't know one of his friends was her ex-boyfriend and that he had stayed at her condo while she was on a trip with her current boyfriend. So, do you guys remember how I said her brother's friend left his cell phone behind after they stayed the weekend at her condo? Well, the friend who left the cell phone was her ex-boyfriend. And that just was crazy to me because I had thought maybe the cell phone and the brother's friend had something to do with her disappearing. But knowing now that it was her ex-boyfriend, it definitely makes me think it has something to do with it. So, that night, after she came home from her trip, she had talked to her brother. Her brother said his friend left his cell phone in the condo. He asked if she could FedEx it to him because it was his work cell phone. So she was going to do that the next morning. So she ended up talking to her boyfriend on the phone. And she talked to him at about 10 o'clock. They always talked on the phone at night. And every morning they either called or texted. So she's talking to her boyfriend. And this is another thing I totally forgot that happened. During her phone call to her boyfriend, there was a knock at her door. And so she's talking to him at 10 at night. And somebody's knocking on the door, but she didn't answer it. And to this day, nobody knows who had knocked on her door. So in the investigation, the police found out her ex-boyfriend had been across the street from her condo that night at a bar called Blue Martini, and he had been drinking and he was drunk. So also we find out that he doesn't even live in that area, so it's kind of odd for him to be living or to be at the restaurant or the bar across the street from her condo. So I think he's the one that knocked on the door at 10 o'clock. And what could have happened was his excuse for knocking on the door is the phone, you know? Maybe he left his phone on purpose, so he had a reason to come back and knock on the door. And then, like, if she answers, he can just be like, oh, you know, you don't have to FedEx my phone anymore. You could just give it to me. I'm right here. So now I'm thinking maybe after she hung up with her boyfriend, she got another knock at the door and this time answered it. And it ends up being her ex-boyfriend. Maybe she felt comfortable enough to let him in while she's getting him his phone. Maybe he even talked her into taking a drive with him. You know, we don't know how close they were. So he could have something to do with her disappearance, and that would explain why her clothes were out on her bed for work, but she never wore them. Now, I've heard the police have interviewed him and says he doesn't have anything to do with the case, but I don't know. I'm going to look into him more. I want to try to find out his name. Sometimes, you know, you feel like if you just look at somebody, you can kind of tell if they're shady or not. But I just thought I'd let you guys know about that theory, the ex-boyfriend theory, that it's quite possible after I looked into it and found out that extra information. So thank you to all my subscribers, and I'll be doing more videos on this case, on the different theories in the future. So subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.